I'm Jennifer from the Worcester branch of the Wayne County Public Library, and today I would like to show you how you can make some hand-stitched Christmas cards. Now, the technique is fairly simple, so I'll show you how to do that, but what you're going to end up with is two different types of trees for your Christmas cards. Now, there are a lot of patterns out there. You can find plenty on Pinterest, but I wanted to keep it fairly simple for this video and also for the take and make kits that I will have put together for the first week of November. So, what you're going to need for these is, first of all, you need the patterns, and patterns usually will show up on Pinterest or other websites in this way. They're going to have a design with dots paired with how it's going to look when it's stitched. So that's one design, and the other design will look like this, with more of the holes at the outer edge, and then that's how it's stitched. To do these, you're going to need a piece of cardstock that's cut in half. So I'll just show you here. Imagine, here's your cardstock. Oops, here's your cardstock, and you just cut it in half this way. And then you fold each half into cards. You will need an awl or a beading awl or a large needle to poke your holes. And it's also helpful to have a scrap piece of cardboard because your sharp point is going to go through the card very quickly, very smoothly, and you want something to protect your tabletop. You will also need a needle and some embroidery floss, and I'm going to use 3 strands of floss, if that helps. You'll also, of course, want scissors, and you will want some tape because you're not going to be knotting the embroidery floss. You're taping it down and back so that things stay a little bit flatter. You can also use some pieces of paper to cover up the back of the stitching in the card. You'll see here, I haven't done that with this. This is the outside. This is the inside. And you can sort of see a couple of places where the tail ends stick out a bit. It's up to you if you want to cover it or not. But if you're sending these out as Christmas cards, covering it with a little bit of paper can help give you a little more space to write a note. And then if you are going to cover the stitching, you might want to use a glue stick or maybe double-sided tape to keep that piece of paper down. So those are the basics. That's what you're going to need. We'll keep that in the description down below. And in the meantime, let's get started. Now, as I mentioned, the first thing you're going to do with your cardstock is cut it in half, going across the middle here, and then folding each of those halves into a card. Because what you want to do is lay the pattern on your card and punch the holes. So I've already punched the holes here, as you can see, but just to show you, I would open it up and place it over that piece of cardboard. Your pattern, I would trim so that you can actually see to center it on your card. And then you're going to take the awl and just punch, punch, punch each one of these holes, all of them, all the way from top to bottom. Don't move this paper until you're done punching, so that you make sure the pattern comes out just exactly as it should. Once you have the pattern punched, then you want your needle and embroidery floss, and you're going to want a small piece of tape, because what you're going to do then is, once you do that first pull through, you're going to tape the end in place. Now, this is the card, this is the pattern that we're going to follow, and you'll see all of these are coming from the same point. So we are actually going to start down here from the back, pull this through so you've got only the smallest of tails. And then we want to tape that down. Oops. Sorry about that. And then from this center point, we're going to stitch to here, come back to the center, stitch the next one, come back to the center, and so on until we've done this first section. So you come back to the center and come up, and then move to the next hole, and go down, center, up, next hole, come down, center, now when you find these patterns in the Take and Make kits, I will have them labeled and give you some instructions as to which hole to start with, which ones to go to. But it's not going to be detailed all the way through. There is a pattern to how these are stitched. And so we've just completed this first section. And then we'll go on to the next section, and it follows the same sort of routine. We move down to this next hole, and we go out, back to the center, out, back to the center, and so on. I'll trust that you're able to, once you get the first couple of sections done, figure out how it goes the rest of the way based on the pattern that you're going to have in your kit, okay? So I'm going to keep going now with this second section. If you need to, you can stop and compare and see how many holes. Okay, so we're definitely going to pick up the last hole from the first section here. If you can see how they join together. But then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So I'm going to count down from this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go in here. And then again, back to the center, up, out to the next hole, now, on these sections, you're not going to join up to the very top. So we're not going to join to the next hole up to the middle, but we are going to go to the other side and work from there. So again, up in the middle and then down on this hole so that it joins with the top portion. And then work your way down. All right, and that's section number 2. right, so I'm almost to the end of my thread. I've got one more stitch in it, so I'm going to go ahead and go down, pull through to the other side, tape that thread down, and trim the end. And then I'll start again. All right, so we've got all of the branch sections done, and now all we have left to do is the trunk. So hopefully I have enough thread left, but I kind of doubt it, so we might have to stop and fill it back up again. Yep, I think I need more. All right, and there we go. It's not one of my best, but it still looks pretty good. So that is design A that you will find in your kit. I do have another design in the kit, design B. So let me get everything ready and then I'll show you how we do that one. Okay, I misspoke. Of the two patterns, this one is actually design A. So I'm holding this close so I can show you how I've numbered the holes. We've got numbers going down the middle and then letters alternating from side to side. So what we're going to do to stitch this one is we're coming up at the numbers and going down at the letters. So you'll start with 1, go down to A, 2, go down to A, 3 to A, 4 to A, 5 to A, and then the other side. 1 down to B, 2 to B, 3 to B, 4 to B, 5 to B, so that you get a pattern that looks like this. So let's go ahead and start and get our floss anchored into place. So we're up at 1, down at A. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we'll go back up to the top and start with 1 again. And this time we'll come down to B. And 2. Oops. before. One thing you have to watch for when you poke your holes is if they get a little big, it's really easy for your needle to drop out of them. So that's the first section. And then what we'll do is going down from here and out to the second set of outside holes, like here. All right, through the magic of video editing, here we are almost to the end, and I'm on my second round of floss. So let's finish up this last section. And you see, it's taken the same pattern as the first section, just like the first card did. So I really think once you get into the groove with stitching these, it should be pretty easy. And we're going to do the trunk the same way. So you'll start at the middle and come down to each of these 5 holes. And we'll go ahead and secure the end on the back. And trim the tail. All right, so that is our second card all done. Now, like I said before, if you want, you can take a piece of paper to cover this on the back. It's totally up to you. But the kit will give you enough to make one of each of these card designs, but the patterns are reusable. So you could always get more card stock and more embroidery floss and make more cards. I hope you have a fun time making these, and you'll want to call and reserve your take and make kits at the reference desk. In the meantime, as always, stay healthy, be kind, and get creative. Bye-bye.